Good morning. This is Ian Clark, who just joined us.
Good morning, Mr. Clerk. This is Derek Gibson.
Good morning, Ms. Gibson. We have Mr. Miller on the line, and I'm about to call JS. I don't know if they've transported Ms. Farnham, but there was nothing that noted they were going to be calling in, so let's find out. Okay, folks. Sorry about that. It took a minute to get Ms. Farnham on the line, but we should have everybody. Ms. Farnham, we've got your attorney, Mr. Miller. We've got D.A. Gibson, and I'm going to let the judge know, and we'll begin in a moment.
Yes, sir.
All rise. Juneau Superior Court is now in session with the Honorable Judge Mead presiding.
Please be seated. Not to the extent anyone stood up. All right, we're on record in 1JU 19-1187 and 2137. On the line, I have Mr. Miller. Can you hear me?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Gibson?
Yes, Judge.
And Ms. Farnham, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Gibson, Mr. Miller, you've requested a bail hearing. And these two cases, go ahead. What are you looking for?
Well, we're kind of back to where we've been with Ms. Farnham in the past, which is we are requesting the bail be dropped down to $500 to OR. Ms. Farnham's been in jail. I'm not exactly sure, looking at ACOMs, if it's related to all this case or if some of it's from a city case, but since she's was initially arrested on this case, it looks like she's been in 3 different times, first 21 days, then 25 days. Now she's been there 53 days at Lemon Creek. And she's been on ankle monitoring in the interim. Obviously, the reason she's gone back is she hasn't always appeared, which is concerning. However, at this point, she's been involved in therapeutic court. I think she's, Ms. Gibson could probably correct me if I'm wrong. I think she's observed 5 times and is in opt-in status right now. Unfortunately, the way things are, it's some uncertainty how long that will be before final review. Meanwhile, she just continues to sit in jail, and we feel that this is an appropriate time given her hopeful but uncertain timeline for therapeutic court, and then also just the coronavirus situation in the jail. I think she'd be much better off being out, and just think it's a good time to revisit, just given the amount of time that Farnham spent in jail, the coronavirus, and then her kind of on the cusp with therapeutic court, and that's why we're making a request now to have her OR EMPD. She's done that before. I think it's just a matter of her keeping her electronic monitoring working. I think has been a problem. Hopefully that she's had enough experience with it now to know what to do and what she needs to do to be successful on electronic monitoring.
All right, well, before I turn to Ms. Gibson, just to clarify, in case number 19-1187, there is no bail. I'm looking through the file. There's no bail set in 19-187. There is, in that case, Ms. Farnham is on PED. There's a $100 unsecured appearance bond. Electronic monitoring. And like a requirement that she not go to the state museum. But other than that, there is no bail required in 19-1187. In 2137, on February 7th, there was a $300 performance bond ordered, and I believe that's when she started going to therapeutic court. Ms. Gibson? So really the request is that the $300 cash performance bond be vacated.
I don't have an objection to this request. I would ask
though, that the court sort of give Miss Farnham an admonishment, because I don't want her to come back before the court and be back in this same position because she's not maintaining contact with PED or keeping her electronic monitor charged. There are people who can help her if she's having trouble finding a place to charge it. And so I just want to make sure that Miss Farnham knows that she has that available to her.
I do. I plan to be at the Ware Shelter or St. Vincent's. I filled out an application before I got incarcerated.
And is there anybody helping you with that, Ms. Farnham?
Yeah, the therapeutic court. I have a hearing on the 8th, and I'll talk to her about that stuff on the 8th.
I don't know if that hearing is going to go forward.
Okay.
A lot of hearings got extended out because of the COVID-19 pandemic. So, but you can get in touch, I believe, with Ms. Delketti.
Okay.
Right. So, Ms. Farnham, I'm going to go ahead and grant the request. I'm going to
on both of them, because I can't even find $100, ma'am. Like, I will not be able to get out.
No, Ms. Farnham, the $100 is an unsecured bond.
Okay.
So you sign the piece of paper promising that if you don't show up, you're going to pay the $100.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. But I'm going to take away the cash requirement. Everything else will stay in place. Ms. Gibson, do you know, is PED going out to the jail for electronic monitoring purposes?
I believe so, Judge. They still are attaching electronic monitors. I don't know if PED is going out there or if P.O. Schramm is handling it, but I know that they're still attaching EMs.
Okay. So everything else, Ms. Farnham, everything else is going to stay in place. You'll have electronic monitoring. You are to stay away from the State Museum. Am I missing anywhere, Ms. Gibson?
No, Judge.
All right, so just the State Museum. You're going to have to just check in with PED when they tell you to check in, okay?
Yes, ma'am. I promise you I will. So, do you know how long it's going to take to fax the paper over?
We'll fax it over pretty much as soon as we get out of the hearing today. You need to check in with Mr. Miller once a week, okay?
Once a week. Yep. I got it.
You need to keep in touch with him so he can tell you when your court dates are.
Yes, ma'am. Can he, when I get out, I'll call him and leave a message, but can he find the number to the lady who does therapeutic court? Because she said that they have a program that might help me get a phone, and it'll be a lot easier for me to make these phone calls.
Why don't I, Ms. Farnham, why don't I go, I'll find it and I'll put it on your TO.
Okay.
And the jail will give you a copy of your TO before you leave today.
Okay.
And then you'll have her number. I know you've been observing therapeutic court and you are about to hopefully get into that program, be accepted into that program. I think that would be a great program for you. I'm doing as Ms. Gibson asked, and I'm just warning you. You have to keep in touch with your attorney because you need to know when you need to be in court.
Yes, ma'am.
And stay out of trouble.
I will. I don't get into trouble. Usually they pick me up because I miss court. I never get a call because I'm in trouble.
All right. Well, keep in touch with Mr. Miller. If you have questions about when the next time you need to be in court is, you can call downstairs at the courthouse to the clerk's office. They can tell you when your next court date is.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. We'll get the paperwork out this morning, and Ms. Delketti's telephone number will be on it. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Is there anything else for you, Mr. Miller?
No, thank you.
All right. Ms. Gibson?
No, Judge.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.